Good morning, everyone, and welcome to a Naluri community webinar. As some of you may already be familiar, my name is Mikey. I'm your host and moderator for today's event. As usual, please share how you're feeling today as an emoji in the chat box. This month's community topics have largely revolved around fitness as well. So just out of interest, why don't you share any of your fitness goals this month and the progress you've been doing with your fitness goals? Have you managed to achieve them? Any obstacles you're facing? You can just share it in the chat box on your right. Hello. Morning, Marina. For those of us that just joined, I just asked everyone if they can just share how they're feeling, either as an emoji or perhaps an emotion just in the chat box on your right, as well as just share any fitness goals and your progress with it this month. Hello, good morning, everyone. Yes. Happy. Wow, I wonder what's making you so happy, Mudiana. Oh no, what's wrong? Yusri? Kevin's feeling funny. That's nice. Hope everyone's having a good morning and a positive day. Yes, good vibes, Simlay. Fitness goal: regain muscle loss through protein intake and regular exercise. Yes, that will be covered in today's presentation. Stressed and tired. I feel you. So we're just going to wait just one more minute for a few more people to join and we'll start the session. Been slowly cutting carbs and sugar in my diet. Been also trying to mix workouts, weightlifting. Wow, that's a lot of workouts. Join gym. Obstacles, delicious food. Delicious food's always going to be an obstacle, unfortunately. Yes, there's some people facing work-life balance, I'm guessing, and because of that, there's no time to exercise. Okay, it's 11:03. So before we start with the presentation, just let me go over a few housekeeping points. This is a very interactive platform, Demio, and for those that were in our previous community webinars, remember, we do encourage you to be as proactive as you can. Start any discussions with your fellow audience members in the chat, but you can also participate in polls and share any thoughts you have with the speaker, Coach Naim. So if you would like to, just type in @Naim before writing your questions, and then you can tag him. And then if you want to send it as a private message, if you want to remain anonymous, there is a tick box as well as an option. Just a reminder, this whole presentation deck will be shared with you at the end of the presentation, as well as a recording about an hour after the presentation's ended. Let me get to the coach. Okay. Today's speaker is Coach Naim from Anytime Fitness. And I would like to invite Coach Naim to come on stage, please.
Good morning, everyone.
Hi, Coach. Morning. Over to you, Coach.
All right. Thank you, Mikey. How's everyone doing? Give me a thumbs up. Good? All right. Can you hear me clearly? All right. Beautiful. Thank you, Anissa. All right. Good morning again, everyone, and assalamu alaikum for the Muslims. So my name is Coach Naim. I'm a fitness coach for the past decade, and I love numbers. So belows are my favorite numbers for today. So for the past 10 years, I've been coaching more than 1,000 students. I like to call them students, and there's a reason to it. I've been coaching more than 10 years. At the moment, I have 5 amazing kids, 1 gorgeous wife, and 60 minutes with you. A special time with you guys. So at the moment right now, we have 169 amazing participants joining us in this webinar talking about tips and tricks how to be healthy and manage your wellness. All right. Before I start babbling and talk more about what I can help you with, let me know and understand you better. So I'm going to ask a very simple question. What do you want? Please go to the message, type what do you want. Mazlan looks very happy over there. All right, Anissa, to be fit. Aliyah, slim, beautiful, and healthy. That's really nice. And Farhuda, you want to be happy. Tea, Fang Min, energy. Have you had your breakfast? To lose weight, healthy, lose weight. Adeline, you want to be fit and properly healthy. Just smiling and laughing. So, that's the first correct steps that you already took. Knowing what you want, because if I don't know what you want, if you don't know what you want, it's a bit more challenging for me to help and support you. Yeah. So understanding what you want is the first step. So kudos for those who can answer, and for those who are still thinking about it, probably this is the best time for you to really look at the mirror and ask yourself this question: what do you really want? Okay. Yeah, I like Supen answer. I want to be disciplined in my exercise regime, not being regular enough currently. No worries. You came in the right place. All right. So first quote of the day. Most often, the environment is stronger than willpower. I'm going to repeat it again. Most often, the environment is stronger than willpower. So I'm a coach, and usually when I sit down with my clients, my experience shows that a lot of my clients struggle to overcome the obstacles and challenges, and partly because of the environment they are in, and what makes things much harder. They want to change, they want to be healthy, they want to do something for themselves, they want to put themselves as priority. But as long as the environment is a bit too challenging for them to start off with, it will always be an uphill battle. And this is what we need to acknowledge, and this is where we're going to start off with. Okay, what do I mean by environment? So environment can be perceived or be defined as your location, your situation. So we have three environment in terms of locations. So you have your home environment, your workplace environment, and your me time environment. For example, like hanging out in mama after work, or for some of you guys going to the library. Does anyone still go to the library after work? Maybe some of you guys like to play futsal after work. So that's a me time environment. And an environment also refers to the people that you surround with, that you spend time with. So we have usually family, friends, and others. And the reason why I make this simple template is for you to answer to yourself on your notebook and tick right if that particular environment and people, location and people. So for example, home and family, if that particular environment makes you healthier, put a right. Or is that the other way around? It makes you less unhealthy. You can put a cross. All right, this is a time where I open to any questions in the chat box. Do you have any question regarding the environment? Like, what do you mean by others, for example, or not? All good? Can we go to the next stage? Perfect. Mantap for Mazlan. Nice. Okay. So, for example, you have a very supportive family. They formally wants you to be healthy, say your wife, so they cook really healthy food. But your biggest challenge is your friends at your workplace. And these are the friends that are a bit too nice and they will buy you those nasi lemak, buy those free lunches, or sometimes they are the one that dictate where you have your lunch, whatnot. And this is quite common, unfortunately, for us. So, what can you do to be in charge? Because if you think about it, your health, your body, but who decide your food? Who decide how you spend time? How do you spend your time and your energy? Do you have 100% control on that decisions, or you allow the environment to dictate what you eat, when you rest, when you go out and play? So most often when I coach my client, you'll be surprised that 80 or 90% of the main obstacles are actually external environments rather from internal issues. And this entire environment will engulf you and will dictate to you what to eat, when to rest, when can you play out and work out. Or you might think so. Something to ponder upon, yeah? Yes, Chesley, and people around me. So it's a bit of like a mutual understanding, right? There are times where you need to be in charge and saying no if they ask you to go to mama after work. And there are times where you can still be in the environment and still be in charge of what you do and what you eat. Okay. Yeah. So I have this very simple rule for all my clients. Use the 80-20. As long as you be in charge 80% of the time and you allow that 20% to be a bit of a hoo-ha and splurge, and you'll be fine. But if it's the other way around, then that's where a lot of issue comes by. Make sense? Ah, Adelina. Yes, free food for the companies. So when my client says, "Ah, coach, free food, I have no option. The company bought it for me," I will ask them, "Did anyone force you to eat it?" So Adelina, answer my question. Did anyone force you to eat it? I know it's free. I know it's tempting. Did anyone force you to eat it? Or they just try to convince you? Can't waste it. Just tap out and give it to your friend, your housemate. You be the environment, the toxic environment. Give it to your security guards. I had a similar issue as well working in the gym. Sometimes clients bring me this curry puff, nasi lemak. They say, "Coach, it's my habit buying this curry puff from this makcik in the morning." And then I like to buy it to support her. But I know I can't eat it, so I'm giving it to you, coach, because you're gonna burn it later. I'm like, 10 curry puff is a bit too much. So what I did is I will share to the security guards. I will share to people around me that I feel that they deserve it more than me and they can somewhat burn off the calories. Yeah, it's still the same slide right now, environment. Okay, let's go next. All right. So that's the external factor. How about the internal factor, right? So as a fitness coach, of course, exercise is something that I highly recommend everyone to do, either indirect exercise or direct exercise. And this is a quote actually was given from my client when we asked feedback from one of my clients. He's a Filipino but work in Malaysia, and he came out this quote, and I love this. I fall in love with this quote because this is really what we as coaches should embody and should really hold on. So exercise is a celebration of what you can do and not a punishment of what you can't do. I know. Gym is dreadful. Personal training is very, it causes anxiety and like anxiousness going to the coach or whatnot, or going to the fitness gym, all that kind of stuff. Guess what? Here, certified coaches, our mindset to every single clients that we have is to celebrate of what you can do rather of a punishment or you can't do. I'm not here to criticize, oh, you can't do a push-up, why you so weak? I'm not here to judge you and say, whoa, why you can't run for 10 minutes, why not? Our role as a coach is the first time you come here, I always say the same thing. I will say, look, you can trust me, I'm doing this more than 10 years, but you know your body for more than 30 years, 40 years, 50 years. So please tell me, how do you feel throughout the workout? Please tell me more about yourself. Please tell me all your medical and fitness history, because in this journey, it's not me versus you, it's me and you versus everyone else, versus everything else that we need to fight for. And please understand, we coaches are with you one step at a time. Bear in mind, earlier I mentioned that I use the word student, not clients, not everything else, because in the world of coaching, I see myself as the teacher and my clients as a student, because my role is to empower my students on how to overcome challenges and issues and whatnot. I'm not here to be your customer service. I'm going to help you to figure everything out. But I'm here to remind you that there's some things that you already know what to do, and you just need a bit of enlightenment and support in order to make it happen. And that's my role most often. So who agree with this quote? Who loves the quote? Give me a thumbs up. Yeah, Nisa, me too. So ladies, huh, today? Ah, the guys come in. Nice. So when it comes to planning, coaching, and this is what I told Mikey earlier, is that I'm going to share with you my 10 years worth of experience of coaching. I want to compact it into just 3 stages. I'm not going to give out all my secrets, because it's quite really expensive. But if you ask me, Naim, how do you coach a client? How do you set to ensure that the success rate is really, really high? And these are the 3 stages that I've been shared with my clients and also other coaches as well, because I coach other coaches. And all right, one moment. Let me go back to this one. All right, Mikey. Yes. Can you share me the poll? How about the sit-ups? Okay. So just a quick question for everyone. How many sit-ups are needed to burn 1 kilo of fat? Please choose your answers. No Googling out allowed. Just guess. Assuming that just purely from exercise alone, from sit-ups alone. Interesting. I should change the question, right? How many sit-ups when was the last time you did sit-ups? All right, poll close. Oh, is still people answering? Let's leave it for another 30 seconds. Okay, so we got our poll done. So how many sit-ups are needed to burn 1 kilo of fat? So the correct answer is, ding, 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 25,000 sit-ups. So whoever answered D, correct. You got it right. Think about it. If I want to rely on sit-ups alone to burn 1 kilo of fat, you have to do 25,000 repetitions. So now this back another question. So what is the best exercise? I'm sorry, Alia. If you use sit-ups as a tool to burn your belly fat, 33, you may be at 1%, I think. So again, we as coaches, this is where we come in and say, you know what, there's a much smarter way to do things. And don't get me wrong, sit-ups have their own value and importance when it comes to exercises. It's not like you don't have to do sit-ups at all. But it's not the most efficient way if you want to burn your belly fat, so to speak. 20 kali dah cramp perut. Me too, man. Me too, me too, me too. Okay, so let's get back to the phases I'm talking about. So when it comes to planning or deciding my client's programming fitness program, so I will divide into 3 phases. So we have phase 1, the fundamental phase, and then quickly phase 2, conditioning, and phase 3 is goal specific. Yes, correct, Christine. Very good. So let's go back to phase 1, fundamental. So what does phase 1 means? So let's say you're the first time, never been working out for a good 5 years, and you know what, you say, enough, I already gained a good amount of belly fat. I feel lethargic going upstairs and really want to do something about it. So you meet a coach. So most likely you will start at phase 1, and this is where the fundamental stage. And once we identify which phase you are, we can identify what is the main objective for this particular training or workout. All right. So if I focus on the exercise objective, I just focus on the seven basic movements. And at this stage, it's more on your technique rather on volume or intensity. What I mean by volume and intensity is that I don't care how many squats you need to do or how many push-ups you have to do. That doesn't really matter at this stage. What matters is, can you do one proper squats? Can you do one proper push-ups or an easier version of super push-ups? Find that stage, find the particular exercise that they can do and do it properly. And at this stage, it's all about technique. And it doesn't only focus on, yes, correct, honey, technique over volume intensity, correct. Well done. So it's not only focusing on exercise, but also in terms of nutrition. So to give you an idea about how a lot of people still have insufficient understanding about nutrition is that I give you an example. Does everyone agree that sugar, too much sugar is not good for you? Yes? No? Good. So can we say that if you eat sugar too much, it's not good for your health? So my follow-up questions, and these are the questions you should be asking yourself is, how much is too much? Good, Christian. I like your answer. A little sugar is okay. How much is little and how much is too much? So honey is more than 12 grams a day. Interesting. What do you mean by moderate? Must cut out sugar, trying to buy salt. Do you think cutting out sugar is the best way to go forward? If you do running, we do the sugar. And definitely 1 teaspoon a day. Ada, you sure? Not more than 1 cup per meal. What do you mean by that? 1 cup of sugar? So imagine this big important question a lot of people still struggling to grasp and understanding or not. Okay, I want to change question. Let's talk about Panadol. Does anyone know what Panadol is? If you have fever right now, how many pills of Panadol should you take as an adult? Wow, everyone knows, right? What if I take 4? Is it good for you? Overdose. What if I just take half of it? Does it work? It's not sufficient enough to see the effect, right? So imagine when I ask you a particular drug, everyone is well versed in terms of the dosage, where if you take not too much, so the dosage curve above, dosage curve will look like this. So the first part is the initial dosage, where you can take it, but you don't see much impact. It's not efficient enough. And when you take a bit more, then you have this optimal efficiency in the middle at the peak. And then if you take even more, and you're gonna have this phase of toxicity, or it's not good for you, it's poisonous for you, or bad for you. So when you talk about drugs, you know the answer because you're well informed. Now let's go back to sugar. How much? Interesting, right? So who do you think that should be advising you on this? Okay. Love it. I love that you start thinking. Well done. Okay, let's go to the next phase quickly. So assuming usually about 1 month, most of my clients will understand the fundamentals and understand the concept behind it. And the techniques are really polished, meaning they know how to do a proper squat, push, pull, deadlift motions. They know how much sugar they need to eat, how much salt they need to eat. They understand what is the one that they are taking a bit too much, and what is the part where they're not eating enough, and how to overcome that in a practical manner. So these are stuff that been discussed in the fundamental. And then we go to the conditioning. And conditioning is where now we have the right technique, the right habits, the right understanding. Now we slowly increase the volume and intensity just a bit. And at this stage, so now, Adelina, yes? What was the question? So now, Adelina, for example, I'm asking you, hey, you already done a proper squat, one squat. Let's do at least 5 squats properly. Proper technique. And then she does 5, right? And then let's go, okay, now from 5 to 10, and then 10 to 15. And what it does in this stage is that we still haven't talked about how many kilo you lose, or how much muscle you build, or what all that. That's not the main focus yet, even though at this stage you start to see some results. But the focus points in terms of exercise is to condition your joints, the small muscles. Yeah. And at this stage, it's crucial to understand that, especially for beginners, the last thing you want is to sustain injury. And during the fundamental and conditioning stage is where you are susceptible to injury, because you're still building your technique. You still condition your joints, your small muscle, just like, oh, there's something you're doing all this while. You've never been lifting weights all this life. And suddenly you start lifting. So we need to respect how does our body adapt to this particular scenario and training. And by allowing a phase of conditioning, allow us to transition to the next phase in a very, very safe manner. And the whole point we go to this phase is to minimize the risk of injury. Same go with nutrition. You start to build a habit of eating consistently at a similar time. That's what your body prefer. It could be the classic 3 times a day. It could be intermittent fasting. It could be once a day meal. These have been discussed and decided during the fundamental. All right. Good. You're very right, honey. When it comes to in the early stage, we focus on bigger core muscles every day, because those are the bigger contributor in allowing to improve your strength and burn a lot of fat as well. As you use the big muscles, your small muscles are also involved, and they always act as either as a stabilizer or as a secondary muscles, meaning that as much you want to build stronger legs, for example, you need to allow your ankle joints and your knee joints to be a bit more conditioned, so to speak. Another example is when it comes to strength training, lifting weights. And I believe some of you guys have this experience when you start to lifting weights, for example, like a shoulder press right now, right? As much I'm working my shoulder right now, but most often what makes you feel tired and fatigued is not your shoulder, but more of your wrist. Am I right? Same goes to something pulling. The coaches will say, oh, you're working your back, la la la, whatnot. But the limiting factor usually is not your back muscles. Your back can still go on forward, But most often your wrists, the gripping muscle is getting tired, your forearm is getting tired, and your biceps getting tired first. Does it mean you're not working your back? Well, this is where if you have a coach that actively looking at your form and technique, they can correct you. And also understand that at a certain stage, it is what it is. So there's a theory saying that women's upper body muscle is much stronger than lower body muscle. True. How do you fix it? More like this. Okay. Um, Good question earlier. So fundamentally, when it comes to strength performance, it's really, really individualized and personalized. So having a coach to assess your strength from the beginning will decide, do you have a stronger upper body or you have a stronger lower body? But most often, male or female, you guys most likely have a stronger lower body. Most often. Salam, coach. After exercise, is it normal if our body get at extremely normal? So if you haven't exercised quite some time, or if you increase the intensity and volume, you're going to have this condition called DOMS, DOMS, and DOMS stands for delay onset muscle soreness. Up until now, the scientists couldn't figure out why your soreness is being delayed, meaning you work out today and you're going to feel that pain tomorrow. So the scientists like flabbergasted or bombarded why the pain is being delayed, but it's also a good way to understand. Here's the rule of thumb that I give to every client of mine. If you feel that pain after your workout, the day after, so DOMS, most likely that's muscle soreness and it will go away within 2 to 4 days. Tomorrow feel like robot, yeah. But if you're doing a workout, you feel pain instantly, muscle or joints, something's not right. I repeat again. If you feel pain on the following day on the muscle, you can feel that tenderness, that pain, stretch pain, bend pain. It's quite normal. It's called DOMS. But if you feel pain instantly after workout or during the workout itself, especially on the joints or sometimes on the muscles, something's not right. Bear in mind there's a different definition of pain and muscle fatigue. The burning sensation that you feel is most likely muscle fatigue that will go away as you rest. But pain is a constant pain. Just try to slap your face. You feel that pain? If you feel that pain on your muscles, something's not right. Okay, just another last question before I go to the next slide. If we don't feel DOMS afterward, does that mean you're not doing enough? Good question, honey. I love that. So DOMS are just the side effect of a particular exercise workout. It's not the main indicator of how intense your workout was. Because if you've never been workout all your for quite a period of time, even though you were an athlete before, so you were an athlete for a good 30 years, and then you stop working out for 1 year, and then start back again, most likely you're gonna feel DOMS the day after the workout sessions. But if you've been working out consistently here and there, that DOMS doesn't really show. You don't really feel much, and it's quite normal. And it's not only the prime indicator of how the intensity and your progress, there's other indicators as well that we can check to see are you progressing or not. So not true, honey, not true. Coach, if doing exercise feel cramp, is it normal? Shalini? Short answer, no. You shouldn't feel cramp during exercise. If you feel after 1 hour, it's a sign for you to stop. Enough for today. If you just started and feel cramp straight away, and most likely it's a nutrition issue, and you need to get a coach to figure it out. I'm gonna ask one last question. Lilai Pang, sometimes I do encounter pain on the abdomen during the Salta clash. Pain. Okay, what pain is it? So there's pinching pain, burning sensation, cramping pain. Identify all that. If it's cramping pain, it's a sign that muscle is fatigued and you need to rest, stop, drink some water. If it's pinching pain, something like you feel like being teared upon, that's something alarming. I ask you to stop, adjust your technique, and if it still persists, just stop and go see a doctor. If it's like burning sensation, that's most likely muscle fatigue as well. Rest, drink some water, give your body some rest, and you could do it in the second set. Okay. All in all, pain, the the mindset of no pain, no gain is not really correct. All right. All right, let's go next. I love this question. Keep on coming. So, assuming just started, had a coach, fundamentals, know how to do the proper squat, know how to eat properly, and know how to sleep properly. And then you go to the conditioning phase where you start to increase the volume and a bit of intensity. And then you start to get the hang of it, what we say, right? And then usually it take about 2 months, 1 to 2 months, depends on how frequent the training is and how do you do things and how's your progress. And this is a stage where a lot of people want to be in, the goal specific, where you mentioned earlier. I want to lose 5 kilo. I want to be slim and healthy. I want to do this, this, and this. And this is where whatever smart goal that you decided early on, this is where, okay, now we can focus on. This is where hustle, hustle, hustle. This is just focus. So the plan will be very specific. Yeah. Thank you, Mikey. So the plan should be very specific in terms of exercise. So for example, a very classic exercise planning in a week is 4 times strength training, 2 times cardio, and 2 times yoga, for example. And in nutrition, if you sit down with a dietitian, they can be very specific how much calorie, how much protein, how much carbs, how much fat. And the same questions that I asked earlier about sugar applies to all other macros. So we need to understand individually how much protein should be taking, how much carb should be taking, and how much fat should be taking. Because the whole notion of eat as minimal calorie as possible and to burn as much calorie as possible is unsustainable, is unrealistic. And more often in the world of corporate where the demand of energy and the demand of nutrition is really, really high, you have to understand this, everybody. Your body, your health is as equally as important as vital like a BMW car. The maintenance needed is you need to be taking care really good, right? So imagine you have a BMW car, a Mercedes car, and you want to service it, whatnot. You want to use the best of stuff, right? You want to use the best of engine oil. You want to send to the best workshops, whatnot. That's your body are right now. So if you don't treat it and service in a correct manner, it will affect the performance. It will affect how you live your daily life, whatnot. Clear? And also the resting time. So this is an example of being very specific, knowing when to sleep and when to wake up. And a lot of my clients, many of them, when I first sit down and have a consultation with them, what I found is that there's a pattern of if they're a kind that doesn't have proper sleep, all these issues start to come by. Weight issue, cholesterol issue, blood pressure issue. It's always really related to it. And I give you an example. Let me share you a story about having this one client. He's a managing director for oil and gas company, a millionaire, so to speak. Imagine him having two personal coach. One is me as his strength coach, and another one is his MMA coach. Having a personal chef to cook for his food, and he only eats one heavy meal a day, and he only sleep at hotels. He doesn't have a house because he's always in travel or not, right? His work nature is always travel overseas. So despite having all this, right, he still weigh 170 kg. Very in a unhealthy BMI scale, right? So imagine having a strength coach, having a personal chef, having this, go around with him, but in the end of the day, because of his work nature where he doesn't have proper sleep, his internal health is really compromised, and that translates into heavier body weight, more body fat, whatnot. So Jasril, good question. So does nap count inside the 8-hour rest period as in 6-hour night to nap? Does nap count inside the 8-hour rest period, as in 6-hour night plus 2 nap equals 8 hours of rest? Okay, so back to about resting. Some people need the 8 hours and some people don't. It's really, really personal, and it depends on how do you live your day on a daily basis. But the rule of thumb is very simple. If you sleep and when you wake up, do you feel fresh? Do you remember your dream? And do you feel that you feel ready to tackle the day? Do you feel energetic? So do you feel fresh? If you say yes, and if you ask you, do you remember your dream? You say no. And if you feel that you feel energetic and will be ready to tackle the day, if you answer this question like that, then I would say you have that perfect sleep schedule, so to speak. So it could be 6 hours, it could be even 5 hours, it could be 4 hours. And you'll be surprised. Sometimes if you spend extra hours sleeping, especially on the weekend, it just makes you feel more groggy and more tired and lethargic. So there's a science behind it about sleep cycles, whatnot, and for you to understand when to sleep, when to wake up. But again, this is very customized and personalized based on each individuals. And I have the perfect answer to sort that issue. Okay. All right. So let's go for our next question. Right, Mikey? So you can look at the polls again. There's another question for you guys. What are the biggest barriers preventing you from maintaining a regular exercise routine? And this is by far the most crucial factor and whatnot. And like I mentioned earlier, it's a mixture of both external environments, which plays a huge, huge role as being part of the barrier for you, and also from the internal environment in the sense of understanding where you are right now and what kind of support you need at this point of time. So by matching the right problem with the right solution is key to ensure to get the outcome that we wanted. My favorite challenge, lack of time. I think almost half of you guys answered lack of motivation as well. And then lack of access to facilities or equipment and whatnot. Okay, let's just give you an idea whatnot. Okay, lack of time. I want you to understand this. Me as a fitness coach, right now I'm the club manager for Enter Fitness Pacific Tower, right? And of course, I would love to promote people to join gym, whatnot. But do understand this. When I say exercise and working out, whatnot, right? It doesn't only limits to working out at home or in the gym. It doesn't limits to only yoga and strength training or boxing, whatnot. Exercise can be a bit more broader than that. Meaning for mothers that spend a good time 2 hours after work doing all these house chores, laundry and sweeping the floor, cleaning up the dishes. If you do that consistently for every day, congratulations, you've been working out for a good 1 hour, 30 minutes or 2 hours. And for some parents like myself, I spend my 6 p.m. to 7 p.m. as a time where I bring my kids to the park. They will play with their friends and play basketball. So is that a workout? Yes, definitely. Kill two birds in one stone, right? Spend time with the kids. The kids can have fun outdoor, and you yourself are working out, playing the sports that you enjoy. So really, it boils down to being creative and try to overlap certain objective in one particular time slot. Lack of motivation. This is where I believe having a coach for you to consult with, having a dietitian to consult with, can realign again what do you want to achieve and what do you need in order to make that happen. And like I mentioned earlier, understanding your environments factors and understanding your internal factors, and try to match the issue right now and the solution, the practical solution for you to move forward. Earlier, Zoe asked this question. Well, what is 4 times strength means? Or 4 times means 4 times sessions in a week. So, for example, Monday, Tuesday, Thursday, Friday, something like that. Okay. Hi. All good. Can we go next? All right. House chores and workout was a sort of exactly. True. I think I've done enough exercise throughout. Yeah. All right. So, what I'm trying to send a message for everyone is that be mindful of your daily activities in daily life. And the quote, the next quote for you guys is, we are not teaching you anything new. We're merely reminding you how great you are. I repeat that again. I'm not here to teach you anything, guys. I'm just reminding you how great you are, how great your body are. All right. Think about it. Right. Mikey, can you pull out the poll again, please?
Hello, everyone. The coach just has to answer an emergency situation, so I'll just take over for the poll very shortly. The poll is asking, how do you track your progress in your fitness journey? So a lot of you, I'm assuming, will have smart watches or fitness apps. The Naluri app itself also has a fitness tracker. For others, though, they prefer to record their own progress in a journal and diary. It won't have the AI of a smartwatch, so to like give you personal recommendations, but it's more personal to you. You can track it yourself, and of course, with working with a personal trainer, coach, not everyone might have access to that. I fall victim to this a lot. I always said don't track my progress. I keep it mentally, but same with a lot of memories, you try to change your memory to justify your progress. So I might have done a 5K run last week. Maybe at the end of the week, I feel a bit bad for not exercising, but I go like, oh no, I did that 5K run. I probably burned so and so kg, so I'm justified in not having to do any more exercise. Okay, coach is back. What do you think of that opinion?
I mean, I like the idea when you
for
say you
those that
track
don't track the
mentally and
progress.
then you focus on performance rather than just how many kg you lost so far. So a mix of both is fine. A recorded progress is always somewhat vital for you to have an objective understanding how your performance are, because most often we could be a bit biased, because once we done something we like, I'm losing some inches, but that's just what you perceive.
Sorry, coach is just reconnecting again. He is facing some technical issues, so I'll just continue. We are about to reach the Q&A session of this webinar. So as we're waiting for coach to reconnect, please do share any questions you'd like to ask him. It can be personal, it can be more general. There were some questions asked during the registration process as well, such as fitness routine for people who might have stiff shoulder, stiff knee, etc. But if you can start writing your questions now, we can start preparing them for when the coach returns to the call. As we're waiting as well, I can share the presentation deck for those that would like to keep a copy. Sharing it now. It's under the handouts tab. So if you want a copy of the presentation, you can download it. Hi, Coach. Is everything okay? You back?
Yeah. Thank you for
Okay.
waiting. Yep.
No worries. So I just shared the presentation deck
Perfect.
as we were waiting for you to come back. So before we go to the Q&A, would you like to complete your presentation?
Yeah, sure. Thank you, Mikey. I'll take it from here. So it comes down to the actual question that you should be asking yourself. What do you need? So these are the questions where every single time I sit down with people, any clients, whatnot, they always say, I want this, I want that, I want to achieve this, I want to achieve that. But fundamentally, before we can even talk about that, we need to understand, what do you need at this moment right now? Do we need to do a strength training exercise for your lower back because you have back pain issues? Do we need to talk more about nutrition because you're a very emotional eater? You eat a lot when you're stressed? Or do we need to talk about your sleeping habit when you spend 4 hours before sleep on the phone? So when we be more specific on the issues and obstacles that we have, then we can understand the needs of things for we to go to first before we can talk about how to achieve what you want. And when you ask the right question to yourself, then the right teachers will come to you. This is saying that the masters will appear when you ask the right questions. So just quickly to answer Adelina's question, how can we know that we're currently having low loss rigidity associated with knees part? This is where you ask the masters, right? You ask those fitness coaches to do assessments, or you ask any physiotherapist to do a quick functional mobility test, and then they can tell you the answer for you that. So we don't have to know everything, but we just have to ask at the right at the right people. So Ms. Abuza asks, is there any difference in exercise for pre and post menopause? That's a very good question. So one of the courses that I attended is the program cycles for ladies. So there's actually a scientific way of training ladies, and we divide that phase pre-menopause and post-menopause as well. And what is the objectivity in terms of training? What is the concerns, and how does the hormonal changes affects the training as well? It's a really good scientific studies about that. And yes, there are differences to it. And who do you refer to? To the certified coach, obviously. All right. Okay, let me just quickly finish the presentation by this one. All right. Okay, so let's go to the Q&A answers. Q&A session, sorry.
Sure. Thank you, Naim, for the presentation. Huge shout out for everyone getting involved and also asking your questions. There were a lot of questions pouring in now, and it's a thrill to witness all this energy in the room. Before we get to these live questions, as mentioned before, there were some questions asked during the registration process, Naim. So if you don't mind, I'm going to start with those first before we get to the ones that are being asked live.
All right.
Okay, so first question. Actually, it was a combination of a lot of questions that are related. Could you suggest a good and complete exercise for people with either knee problems, frozen shoulder, basically any physical alignment that's preventing them from getting the optimal workout they're actually looking for?
All right. Love that question. So a lot of people have a clear understanding of certain issues. So say you have a knee issue, shoulder pain, or you have very specific understanding of I need to lose 20% body fat to improve my health, right? Every single type of this kind of questions, the answer, the framework is the same, where I'll advise for you guys to get a personalized consultation, because as much you know where you want to go, we need to understand where you are right now. Because when it comes to, for example, knee injury, how bad it is, since when, what is the trigger? Is it due to a joint injury or muscle injury or not? All these questions need to be asked first before I can tell you how to go to your point B, which is I don't want to have any more knee pain. I don't want to have a shoulder pain, whatnot. So the answer for all those questions is, if you guys are client Naluri, utilize the apps because you have access to consultation with all these experts for free, and utilize it. And ask those questions to the experts. Don't rely on TikTok advisors or Instagram advisors, because fundamentally they don't know what is your current situation. And versus if you have a professional consultation, you can have a more specific answer to it. And number two, the follow-up process of it. So after 2 day consultation, the next week the coaches will ask, how's the progress so far? Do we need to tweak and whatnot? And that's a crucial factor of getting the outcome that we wanted.
Great. Yeah. And just a reminder, if we are working out and you do start feeling any pain, as in like pain that's preventing you from working out, stop immediately and consult your trainer if you do have one. If not, consult your healthcare professional, because you don't want this pain to start getting worse and actually affecting the rest of your wellness.
If you happen to work out in a gym or any setup that have coaches, I highly recommend for everyone to at least go to a session, at least for a month. Why? Because it's very common, why I experienced that we define pain for everything. And what we coaches trying to educate for each of our client is to differentiate between fatigue pain, muscle soreness pain, shooting pain, numbness pain, heart pain, sakit hati, because the coach doesn't know how to count. So the initial point is that the first time you don't understand how to differentiate all this kind of pain, all you know is pain. It's like a small child crying for all reasons. They don't know how to say, hey, my diapers is full, or hey, I'm hungry, or I'm tired, I need to sleep. All they know is just cry, right? That's how we perceive our student in the first day in the gym. Everything is painful and torturing. So it's very important for you to experience your fitness journey in the right step by having a certified coach to assist you, if possible, for you to understand all this emotion experience, so you can, oh, this is a good one, I should push more, or this is, I just need to rest, or this is too bad, this kind of pain not good, something's not right, let me readjust what I need to do.
Great,
Very good
thank you.
question, I love that.
Yeah, I see we're approaching to 12, so some of you may need to hop off and go to your lunches, but Coach Naim and I will still be continuing the Q&A. For those of you that are leaving, just sharing a feedback form. Please tell us how you thought of the presentation, what you thought of it, what can be improved, testimonial for either Naim or myself. And we look at these feedback very closely and always striving to improve this webinar experience for you. Okay, back to the questions. Actually, there was one asked live that is related to the last question, so I'm going to ask that first. How do we differentiate between real pain, I guess pain that's preventing us from exercising, compared to DOMS, as you mentioned earlier? Like, what's the criteria for that?
Okay, beautiful. So fundamentally, if a certain if you just completed, or you're in the process of doing your exercises or routine, and you feel pain instantly, and you haven't had a workout before that, like 2 or 3 days ago you didn't work out, so you're not in a recovery stage, you just, this is your first session, you work out and feel pain instantly, our first assumption, there's more likely it will be an injury, and go see a doctor. Stop and go see a doctor. All right. Okay, now if let's say you work out past few days, a bit of soreness, and then you go to your next session and you feel this bugging pain. The rule of thumb is this. So scientists agreed one thing. If you feel DOMS, tenderness, slight discomfort, working out actually make it become a less bit of a pain after a period of time. So for example, you feel dull and sore on your biceps because you did a bicep workout yesterday, right? So today you feel sore. By moving it, initially you feel a slight discomfort, but after you do it for a period of rep and sets, the discomfort will slowly goes away. And then you know this is most likely because of soreness or DOMS. But if you start doing the movement and the pain persisted, and worse, it become even more, then that's a sign that most likely will be an injury, and I'll ask you to stop and rest and go see doctor if it persists more than 2 or 3 days. So the simplest tool that I've been using for the past 10 years is I always ask my client, how do you feel 1 to 10? So if it's involving pain, I will ask them 1 to 10, how painful it is. 10 is extremely painful, and 1 is like being bitten by a mosquito. And they will give me a number. It doesn't matter. It could be 5, it could be 2, it could be 8. What I tell them is this: if it's above 7, 8, 9, 10, stop. It's not worth the pain. All right. Rest for a while and try again. If the pain persists, just stop the session, go see a doctor, find out what's the issue. If the pain is 4, 5, is between 4, 5, 6, then I will tell them this: let's try again. If the pain persists and start to goes up from 5 to 6, 6 to 7, something's not right. Stop the session, go see a doctor. Let's find out what is the cause of pain. But if the pain always stays between 2 and 3, 2, 2 and 4, or it just stays at 5, for example, the discomfort is there, but it always stays at 5, and we can cautiously do the workout by acknowledging the pain, but also understanding that whatever we're doing is not aggravating the pain itself. All in all, whenever there's pain involved, please get a specialist and a coach to supervise the session, and that's the best way moving forward.
So, in regards to pain, how important is it when we do exercise for us to warm down? Does warming down prevent DMS from like being too painful? Or I know it's definitely necessary, but I feel like a lot of people tend to overlook the importance of warming up and warming down in relation to the pain that they're going to be feeling from DMS.
Good question. Definitely, warming up and cooling down plays a massive role to ensure your body function in a way that it should be. So the key point when it comes to working out or getting into a program is progressive overload and um, gradual transition. Meaning, let's say you just woke up. It's really detrimental to your physical health. You straight away go to the gym and start sprinting like nobody business. Straight away. How our body works that they need time to adapt and prepare. So by allowing and by respecting how your body function, meaning you warm up first gradually, you go to a treadmill, you just walk for a while, and then do a slight jog, get to a loose light sweat, allows your body to perform better and minimize the risk of injury. And vice versa, once you're done, you allow your body to cool down or warm down in a gradual manner. And that's the best way in order for your body to maintain and perform well throughout your lifetime. If your body always transition in a very abrupt manner, so from resting to sprint and then come back and rest, what happens is you don't allow your body to function at its optimum, and more importantly, the risk of injury is going to be very, very high as well. And that's where you get all this muscle strain and whatnot. And when it comes to relation to DOMS, DOM is something that you cannot prevent per se, but the better approach is to manage DOMS better. So after the day you work out, make sure you have some enough rest. Sleeping is very, very crucial. A light cardio, meaning walk in the park, a light swim helps a lot as well for DOMS, and also to increase your protein intake. For example, if you've been eating 2 eggs every day, I'll ask my client to eat another one more, just to have extra protein for them to recover faster.
Great, thank you. I think we'll get to the live questions because it's already past 12. Um, First, any simple exercises we can do in the office? Before you answer that, Coach, I'm just going to share a link to um, the Naluri community workouts we already have available online. Sharing now. You can explore these workouts. Some of them are applicable for the office, such as chair workout or chair yoga. But Coach Naim, please do elaborate. Like, if there's any other simple ones we can incorporate.
When it comes to office setups, and whenever I go to finish talk to the bankers or corporate, right, it's always the biggest challenge because the lifestyle you guys facing right now is from morning till afternoon or evening in the front of computer, meetings, reports, right? So to expect you guys to do like a 30 minutes proper workout during that period of time is a bit of a challenge, and not talking about the sweat whatnot. But this is a very cool not data per se, but my experience when I'm managing these kind of clients, right? So I'm gonna do a quick survey with you guys. You don't have to admit anything, just say this. For those who smokes, do you have back pain? Yes or no? Good. Okay. And for those who don't smoke, do you have back pain? Yes or no? Okay. So what's really intriguing is that one of the stuff that we found out, we have this topic called workplace hazard, where one of the thing is prolonged sitting. So when you sit in a position for a period of time, your body start to be locked in certain posture, whatnot, and start to affect your spinal alignment. And one of the outcome is having back pain. So what I found out is that most often those who smokes doesn't have back pain. Interesting, right? Why? Because they have the habit once a while, after 1 hour or 2 hours, after a long meeting, they stand up, have a quick smoke break, and then come and sit down again. So what happened is the risk of them getting that back pain reduced significantly just because of that habit of standing up, get a break, and then come back and sit down. And for those who doesn't smoke and just religiously doing your work, a meeting and reports, whatnot, you are the one that's susceptible to back pain. Interesting, right? So what I recommend is, I'm not promoting you guys to smoke. Have a habit of doing something and take a break. If smoker smokes, you can have a lollipop, for example, or just have a quick snack of fruits or a glass of water, and make it in a way that it becomes so habitual that if you wanted to get a glass of water, you have to stand up, walk to the pantry, have a glass of water, have a quick chit chat with a friend, and then come back. That 5 minute breaks can be the massive difference between having a healthy spine and having a very annoying back pain. Trust me. One of my specialization is back pain rehabilitations, meaning for those who have prolonged back pain, they already went to physio, but they know what to do. Most of my clients have that issue, slip disc, whatnot. So I really understand the annoyance of back pains. And one of the way to tackle this issue is that a simple standing up, walk somewhere every 5 minutes for every hour intervals make the massive difference in the world. That being said, when it comes to proper exercise, like Mikey shared with you guys, Naluri, we have this extensive library of exercise you can do. And I believe there's no equipment exercises where you can do it at office after work quickly, just 5-10 minutes. Trust me, research shows that even if you work out once a week, give this massive health benefits and reduce the most likelihood of getting these heart issues, whatnot, heart problem issues, whatnot. So even once a week have a big value, whatnot. So please. Yeah, Supeng. I love that. Instead of using WhatsApp to communicate with your colleagues, if you can walk over to talk to them. Perfect. So these are the stuff when I say environments plays a huge role where if you set up in a way that you can do things without you have to constantly think, I'm exercising, and it become like a play, it just become a living life. And Surprise, you're living life healthier.
It's great. A trick I normally do as well is I always set alarm, maybe every hour, every 30 minutes, and the alarm is just to be mindful. So when the alarm goes off, I stop working and just examine like how I'm feeling, my posture, does it feel bent or whatever, and that's just a constant reminder that okay, maybe I have to like sit up, or yeah, maybe I should walk around, talk to a friend. But it's being aware of uh, your positioning and yourself at the time. Okay. Question from Honey. So she was referring to a nutrient part you mentioned earlier. She said hitting protein target is really hard. She would have too big, 200 grams of chicken breast that only had 60 grams of protein, etc. So she bought a protein shake, but one of her family members was really against taking supplements like protein powder. So, what are your thoughts on these processed supplements and um, extra stuff that I guess isn't natural?
All right. So the famous question is that is protein, whey protein, is it needed? Is it helpful? And is it advisable? So the rule of thumb is this: if possible, source your source of nutrition and protein from as natural as possible, meaning from fish, chicken, meat, all that kind of stuff. However, we do acknowledge that the challenge people face in order to get those kind of stuff, maybe because of time issue or the surrounding that they are in, is very challenging for them to get affordable source of protein, because right now Malaysia food wise there's many, but to get affordable source of protein and food right now is a bit of a challenge. And I understand, even if you live KL and you earn this amount of salary, it's still a challenge to survive at this moment of time, right? So understanding this, there are times and places where supplements can be a tool for you guys to support your healthy lifestyle. So we do suggest protein supplements if needed to, if that's the only way you can achieve in order to hit your protein needs. So see as a tool and as an option, and try to get as natural as possible. So I'll give you an example. In a day, eggs is a very good source of protein if you can eat eggs. So I would recommend people to eat a handful of eggs, 2 to 4 eggs in a day. And then during lunch, they can have a good source of protein, chicken, fish, and whatnot. And then at night, after workout, they can have their protein shake and also have a meal, whatnot, to hit their protein need for the day. So that's a very classic things or whatnot. But in the end of the day, this is a more personalized scenario where if you want a more precise meal plan, the best person for you to talk with is the dietitian, because they can go through your what is your need actually, how much you need, because you think you need this much. Some people say this, some people say that. My advice is talk to the correct person. So in this case, dietitian, consult with them. You know where you want to go. Now it's understanding where you are right now and then getting this thing right first before we set the path.
That's great. Okay. So we're getting close to 12:15. I think I'll just do one more question. Is that okay, Coach?
Yeah, sure.
Okay. So um, somebody has asked that, well, they mentioned that they suffer from ACL and a meniscus tear injury, and they've already underwent physiotherapy just a few years back. What exercises would you recommend for someone with ACL, Coach?
Very good question. So I can highly relate this scenario because myself, I had a meniscus tear on my left knee for my college time. I'm a basketball player myself, but I didn't get injured for my basketball game. I got injured for my futsal game. One stupid futsal game and boom, gone. Whole year, no basketball, right? So I understand how you feel. And I'm glad that you went to physiotherapy because that's the right moving forward. So what kind of exercise that I recommend? Again, this kind of question, I need to understand even more exactly when the incident happened, what have you done so far? And I need to test your current strength, especially your lower body strength, before we can even decide what kind of exercise you should do. But I want you to have this mindset, Miss Nahzatul, right? The mindset is this: every joints, your knee, your elbow, your shoulder, every joints are being supported by your muscles. So fundamentally, by strengthening and activating the right muscles will allow you to have a better support to your joints, your injured joints, or in this case, your knee. Therefore, will allow the pain to go away even better and to manage issue. So I'll repeat again. So focus point your knee, right? So the injury is here. So the concept for us as physios or trainers is that what we do is don't focus on this particular portion, but we focus on strengthening your leg muscle, your butt muscle, your calf muscle down there. And when these muscles are stronger and being activated correctly at the full range of motion, it will directly support your knee weakness and it will stabilize your knee better and you can do your daily life in a much, much pleasant manner. So less pain and whatnot. I hope I answered your question, Azatul.
Great. Thank you, Coach. So apologies to any questions we've not answered, but due to time constraints, we will have to wrap up the Q&A. I'm very appreciative of all the questions that they come in. Coach Naim, just before we bring the session to a close, is there anything you'd like to share just before we wrap up?
So again, I'm working as the club manager for Anthem Fitness, Pacific Tower. So just a quick shout out to Anthem Fitness. Anthem Fitness is a 24 hours gym. We have 40 clubs in Malaysia right now and 5,000 clubs worldwide. So please, if you want to visit me and want to have a consultation with me, more than happy and welcome for you to come and stop by to my gym. But more importantly, I'm here to support you guys. I'm here to be with you and figure things out with you. I'm not here to criticize you or judge you or pull you down. The moment you say you're lazy, I will say, no, you're not lazy, you're mentally fatigued. The moment you say you're demotivated, I say, no, you're not demotivated. You just need the right environment, the right ecosystem to support you. The moment you feel that you're being too much fat, and say, no, you're not over fat, you're just under muscle, you're not underutilizing your true potential. And I will say it again, I'm not here to teach you anything. Squat, lunges, eating the right way, you know all that. I'm here to remind you what should we focus, and we go it step by step, face by face, and hopefully and surely you can enjoy life better without compromising your health. I think that's the main goal that we have for each of us. Thank you so much for everyone for your time, for your valuable time. It was my honor and pleasure to talk to you guys. I would love to spend more time with you, but unfortunately, time's up.
Great. Thank you so much, Coach. If you did enjoy Coach's presentation today and the personalized feedback or like answers to your questions, just remember you can always reach out to your own personal coach on the Naluri app, as well as in your personal gym, or you can even reach out to Coach Naim. And finally, a round of applause to everyone that has joined. Your presence here today has made this a very unforgettable experience, and we're very grateful for everyone's enthusiastic participation. So just before we end this session, if you remain on this call, you'll automatically be redirected to the feedback form. And for more valuable insights, please visit the Naluri community website. You can find those workout videos that I shared earlier or upcoming webinars, anything to take you on even more journeys of growth and discovery. Once again, thank you everyone from the bottom of our heart for joining us today. And until we meet again at the next webinar, keep shining on. Thank you, everyone.